Rob, thank you for joining us. It's difficult, isn't it, when you come away from home, score 3 goals, you always feel like you're probably going to be on the side of victory, but it wasn't to be today. Can I get your overall assessment on the game?
How long you got, Sam? Started really well with our press and turnovers and the way we played. We put the ball in behind, we got in behind them, and then we lost our momentum when they scored, and probably were a little bit what's the right word, a little bit sort of unstable in terms of we weren't really carrying on with that aggressive press. And we weren't really pushing them back in terms of where they were in the back end. But then the lads showed great character, and that's the biggest thing I've seen since we come in, is the development of character. They showed great character to get themselves back into it for half time, and then again another lapse. And then I thought we dominated for large areas, but the pace and power they got up front, it caught us out. And I think we probably have to take responsibility as a group, myself, everyone, in the fact that probably at least 3 of the 4 goals were down to ourselves, being in good attacking areas and not locking up, making poor decisions on the ball. But on the flip side, we hurt them and we scored some good goals. We were a threat constantly. We controlled the ball for most of the game. And you know what? It's horrible when you're on the end of these sort of, like, I suppose for a neutral would be a fantastic game of football. But I think it wasn't down to lack of effort or lack of trying. It was probably just down to a little bit naivety at times. But to score 3 goals away from home is a positive, but obviously to concede 4, especially with the defensively where we've been recently, was disappointing. So hard to sum up in a short space of time, because it was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. But when you're always chasing the game, it becomes harder because you can't keep the same structure. So as I just said to the lads in there, when you have disappointments like that, you've got to learn from it and really focus on how you can get better at that next week. Because if you take the generic, we lost and we were rubbish, then you won't improve. But if you look at it and say we might not have been as good as we could have been in areas, but we were good in some areas, then I think there's probably some positives to take and definitely things that we need to work on.
Yeah, is that the biggest frustration, I suppose, is that you almost feel like, as you say, 3 of the goals probably were our own doing, so if we don't do that, it's a very different outcome, isn't it?
100%. And you know what I mean, the young lads on this level and some of the players, getting their minutes and everything, you're going to expect that. And I'm not going to criticise the lads for making mistakes, because that's part of being human. But what we have to do is we have to make sure that we work and then we try and nullify them, which we have done brilliantly well so far. But today was against a very good Peterborough team in terms of their wide players and their energy and their pace, and we got caught out with a few times with that. But that's something that our players need to develop with, and as long as they have that attitude to develop, and as long as we keep working on it, I think we will be better for it. But yeah, it's always tough when you've shot yourself in the foot, really. And fantastic effort, mentality to get ourselves back in the game constantly, but then on the other side of it, we're every time we take that step forward, we took 2 steps back.
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it, as we've already said, that a lot of the players out there will probably be walking away going, especially in the attacking sense, going, I had a really good game today, how have we not come out sort of on top there? So how do you sort of manage that with the next week, obviously building up to a big game against Birmingham, because there'll be a lot of positive sort of feelings in there, but also the overriding sort of negative feeling that we lost? Oh yeah,
from an attacking point of view, dealing with Peterborough is probably one of the toughest things in this league. Let's be Birmingham are a bit of a cheat code this year, so that's a completely different ballpark, so to speak. But no, I thought we dealt with it for 75% of the game. We dealt with them well in terms of the wide players and the areas, but the trouble is when you give good players time and space, if you get it wrong once, they hurt you, and they did. They punished us. Jojo had to make some good saves, so it wasn't like it was just 4 goals. They had lots of chances, but we knew that was going to be the case, and we wanted to be brave and go up against it, because that's sort of the Crawley way. We're positive, we're aggressive, and and I think a lot of these young players will learn from this experience and get better from it. And I'm very, very proud of this group of players. I really am, especially over the last few weeks. I think they've been excellent in what they've tried to do. But there's not going to be smooth sailing. We're not going to win every game. But it's how we approach the games and how we lose and how we win and how we do it together. And I think that's the good thing I want, is just see a response going into this week with a bit of a break and tackle Birmingham that hectic Christmas period.
Yeah, as you touched on earlier, great game for a neutral. I think the fans who were here from a Crawley perspective would have seen how much effort was put in by the players today, and can see that if we tidy up certain elements, that this can be a really great side.
Yeah, 100% you can see that, and it's going to be tough for us because it's a tough ask in a tough league. Probably the strongest league in however many years his League One's been. But the response from the fans was amazing. Genuinely was. When you give everything and it doesn't go your way, to see the fans clap the lads off the pitch that's probably shown the connection that we've had the last sort of few weeks, where we've especially away from home, we've gone to some tough places, we've got some good results, and I think it wasn't through lack of effort or desire or anything. Maybe a little bit of quality in the final final third at times, because we did score 3 good goals, and obviously a few lapses of concentration, and the game could have gone a completely different way. But it was brilliant to see, and obviously I'm so grateful for them for the reaction, because I think the lads, I think it definitely perked them up a bit, because they realised that some days is not your day, but when you've got the backing of the fans who pay their money to come watch you, I think that that obviously definitely helps, especially with the journey we're on.
Perfect. Addy, thank you for joining us. Obviously frustrating when you come away from home, score 3 goals, and you're on the sort of losing end of a game. How did you see it?
Coming into the game, we knew that they were going to be a threat going forward. But in the game, they took their chance as well. It was a game of back and forths. I think we played really well, but they hit us on the break quite a few times and got the better of us at the end of the day. But no, we did put in a good shift, I believe. But I think on another day, we would have got 3 points.
Yeah, what's the mood like in the change room? Because as I say, it must be one of real frustration, because in certain aspects of the game we've played really well. Obviously yourself on the score sheet, lots of positives to take from the game, but it must be hard to sort of draw them out when you're sort of on the back of a defeat.
No, the boys aren't too down, because the run we've been on recently has been very, very good. It was just a game that we knew it was going to be a game full of goals, really, because defensively they weren't great, and we can obviously score, as can they. So the boys are disappointed as expected, but it's not the end of the season yet. We've still got a lot of games to go. We've got Birmingham next, so just looking on to the next game, so what we can do now.
Yeah, and I suppose there's plenty of positives to take from our recent run of form, because it shows, when we're fresh off the back of a defeat, we can go out there, put in more great performances, and come away with points. As we said with Rob, we're never going to win every game this year, so it's normal to feel disappointed after a loss, but there's still, as you say, a lot of football to be played and plenty of positives that could come our way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how many games are left, but we're still in December. Season finishes in May, so anything can happen. We're just going to take each game as it comes, of course, and going to keep on progressing as we have been doing.
Yeah, and from a personal standpoint, so obviously another goal for yourself. You're always going to be delighted, but I suppose it means slightly more when it's coming in a victory rather than a defeat.
No, it's always nice to be on the score sheet. It's been a while actually, obviously the most important thing is getting the 3 points. Obviously I can celebrate it, but 3 points is what we actually want. That's what I really care about at the end of the day, if I'm being honest. So
yeah, and a quick word for the travelling support. They were excellent today, weren't they?
Yeah, no, they were great, especially second half when I was on that side. I couldn't stop hearing them, just shouting every time I got the ball, taking one. Very encouraging. I want to thank the fans. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.